when you start out, you're probably not quite sure what the scores mean. So before really trying to understand the graph, you actually need to understand the measure itself, in terms of how robust, how reliable it is, fluctuations, sort of measurement error, what fluctuations can you ignore, and what point do you start taking note of that. But that's all about getting to know the measure. So people have preferences for measures, and that's fine, but they need to understand the actual psychometric kind of potential of the measure itself so they can interpret it appropriately.
So one of the things that I think is difficult in the beginning when you're starting to use routine outcome monitoring, and I think especially if you do not have these algorithms as part of it as well, is to kind of know sort of when to act, what is normal, what is a typical pattern for patients. And although that's something you develop over time, I think it's quite useful to know that there are some patterns that are sort of more common than others. And so what we did in the book is we created a number of patterns of change that are fairly common, either in the negative direction or in the positive direction. And so what we do is then we discuss the scientific literature that is related, so that says something about these patterns, anything that we know from the scientific literature that could be useful in interpreting these patterns. So for example, one of these patterns is something called a sudden gain, which is a relatively quick reduction in symptoms. And there's literature, scientific literature around these sudden gains. It's been studied relatively well, so we know a lot about it. And so what we've done is then summarize the scientific literature on sudden gains with those graphs. And that can help therapists interpret, okay, what does this mean when something like this happens? And how can I then use scientific information available on this to inform my treatment?
Personally, I'm quite visually oriented, so I actually like graphs. But I think if people are shown graphs and they can see graphs of their work, I think that's often, when they do it for the first time, quite a surprise. I think many practitioners work with patients. They might even see a score, but they don't actually have that kind of visualization of it. So I think for many practitioners starting out with ROM, just having that visualization and looking back on the scores, they themselves might say, oh, well, I didn't realize, I'd forgotten that actually there was a lowering there or an improvement there, or things got worse there. They might see it if they read through their case notes, for example. But actually to see it encapsulated in that one way, I think is a very good resume of the progress of therapy. So I think in that way, I think for many practitioners starting out, it's a very good visual way of summarizing the process of therapy. Patients will complete measures, and very often we're dominated by the total score. You know, has their total score gone up? Has their total score gone down? But of course, as we all know, someone might score 15 and someone else might score 15. But if you actually looked at the profile of the individual items, they won't necessarily, or very unlikely, to be scored the same way. So in fact, you can actually look at individual items and you might find that even though the total score maybe looks okay, same as last week, actually specific items have scored maximally, whereas last week they didn't score at all. So scanning individual items, or particularly items that have scored highly, I think is a very good and quick way of tapping into individual content rather than just the kind of overall general view in that way.